Hallo. Gaat die er komen, die 2,8 miljard voor de type?
Dat weet ik nog niet zeker. We gaan eerst eens even luisteren naar de instituties. Dus het valt uiteen in 2 vraagstukken. Of alle milestones zijn uitgevoerd, waren er nog 15 die open stonden. En als dat zo is, dan kan de 1,1 worden vrijgegeven. En het andere deel heeft te maken met achterstallige betalingen door de Griekse overheid. En dan moeten zij laten zien dat ze die aan het wegwerken zijn. En dan kan 1,7 worden vrijgegeven. Dus het zijn 2 onderdelen en op beide onderdelen moeten we het eerst nog horen.
Maar het kan in theorie ook nog zo zijn dat er wel 1,1 maar niet 1,8 wordt gegeven?
Dat zou in theorie kunnen.
Dat zou kunnen.
Dat heeft niet je voorkeur?
Nee, ik heb geen voorkeur. Ik wil dat allebei de dingen goed zijn uitgevoerd voordat het geld vrijkomt. Maar ik hoor daar positieve berichten over. Voordat u allemaal bezorgd gaat kijken.
Positief berichten uit de werkgroep.
Van de instituties. Dus we gaan het dadelijk horen.
En de rol van de IMF, er was dit weekend een bericht van Reuters dat de IMF misschien alleen een soort adviesrol zou gaan spelen en niet financieel zou bijdragen.
Ja, nou, het IMF heeft dat zelf ontkend, dus wat moet ik er nog over zeggen?
En wanneer verwacht u meer duidelijkheid van de IMF te krijgen?
Het IMF heeft, zoals u weet, op basis van ons besluit van mei gezegd dat zij voor het einde van het jaar naar de board gaan. Om dat te kunnen doen zullen ze een schuldhoudbaarheidsanalyse maken. Goed, dat is het gebruikelijke proces. Dus we hopen dat het allemaal voor de kerst in kannen en kruiken is.
En wanneer gaat u in de Eurogroup over de schuld gaan?
Dat hebben wij in mei gedaan.
Ja, maar wanneer gaat u weer over de schuld?
Dat hebben wij in mei gedaan.
Komen als die eerste review wordt afgesloten om dat niet te gaan?
Dat is ten dele waar. Wij hebben gezegd dat als de eerste review is afgesloten, het eerste pakketje aan schuldmaatregelen, waarbij we aan Klaus Regeling van de ESM hebben gevraagd om te kijken wat er mogelijk is om de rente nog wat verder omlaag te brengen of de looptijd nog iets uit te smeren of het pieken eruit te halen. Dat eerste pakketje kan op tafel komen als de eerste review klaar is. Stap voor stap.
Mag ik u nog vragen over de Spaanse begroting? Gaat u erop aandringen dat Spanje voor 15 oktober een begroting gaat indienen?
Zeker, dat moet iedereen namelijk.
Maar als die begroting dan iets voorstelt, omdat een paar weken later weer een ander is.
Ja, dat is de zo.
Op die nieuwe regering is het een volwaardige begroting.
Nee, men moet een begroting indienen. Als er geen volwaardige regering is, mag dat een no-change policy, een no-change budget zijn. Maar ook dan zal de commissie op basis van die begroting en alle kengetallen die daar aan vastzitten, zal de commissie haar oordeel geven en dus voor de nieuwe regering, die hopelijk snel komt, heel duidelijk maken wat er vervolgens moet gebeuren, welke inhaalslag er nodig is. Dus dat het indienen van zo'n budget, zelfs het no policy change budget, is heel belangrijk. Zodat de commissie heel helder kan maken voor de inkomende regering wat er moet gebeuren.
Komen er nog sancties in het structuurfonds gebeuren?
Sorry?
Komen er nog sancties? Wordt dat aan de orde gesteld?
Dat weet ik niet. Dat moet u aan de commissie en het parlement vragen. Die zijn in intensieve dialoog met elkaar. Gestructureerde dialoog, ja. Maar ik mag daar geen grap over
I
maken.
suppose you're talking about the structural funds freezing. When do you expect a proposal from the Commission?
I don't know. I was just saying to your Dutch colleagues that the dialogue between the Commission and the Parliament is ongoing. I have no say in that. I'm not part of that dialogue.
So several MEPs are asking for this proposal to amount to a zero structural funds freezing. Would the ministers accept such a proposal?
I don't know. We'll have to wait the outcome. The only thing I would like to see is that the Parliament would also consider protecting the rules and the agreements of the pact. That is also their responsibility.
So there should be an amount.
What about the 2.8?
On Greece.
Yes. Are you ready for the disbursement? What about the prior actions? Are they fulfilled? Where are we?
We're going to hear from the institutions in the Eurogroup meeting where we are. There were 15 milestones that had to be settled. I'm hearing some optimistic news but I want to hear it directly from the institutions. And on that basis, the next disbursement can take place.
So Greece has
What about the IMF?
I don't know. I'll have to hear from the institutions.
What about the IMF involvement? You've been in Washington, you've been in the annual meeting. There's been some talk if they're going to get in the portal with money, without money. What's going on?
No, the intention is for the IMF to be involved, to go to their board, and the involvement would also be financial. That's the starting point of our discussion, always has been. And the IMF has also denied these rumors, so I don't know where they came from. Perhaps they came from the fact that inside the IMF there is a discussion going on about a new instrument, a new procedure, but that hasn't been decided yet, and it's not specific for Greece. So,
will there be any discussions on possible debt relief by the end of the year?
not today.
Not today?
No.
So you'll have this discussion at what point, after the November review?
No, we had a discussion on debt relief in May, and so what's on the table is the May agreement.
Is there going to be any silence?
Hello.
Hello.
Good to see you. Thank you very much. How is Greece?
How's Greece? I think Greece is a lot better. I think they are returning to growth, which is very important, and confidence is returning to the Greek economy.
Will you
money
approve the
returning?
next 2.8 billion euros
Yeah,
at this
exactly.
meeting?
That depends on whether Greece has fulfilled all its commitments. So we were waiting for 15 actions to be taken. We'll hear today how far they are, and if it's all done, then we can transfer the next set of
Like straight
funds.
to after today, or when will the money be transferred?
Oh, you're asking much too much detail.
And-
Step by step.
Investors today obviously disappointed that a settlement has not been reached yet for Deutsche Bank. Are you frustrated that it's continuing to go on and the uncertainty that that bears for Europeans' financial sector?
Well, it's between the American authorities and the Deutsche, so I think it's in everyone's interest to clear this factor of instability up as quickly as possible.
And Commissioner Moscovici entered here suggesting that Brexit shouldn't be about punishment. You've talked about having a very hard stance when it comes to Brexit negotiations. Do you think it's time to pare that back when you look at how nervous people are surrounding a hard Brexit?
Let's interpret my words correctly. First of all, I don't want the UK to leave. If they leave, they won't get just the cherry-picking part of the deal. That's my message to them. And I think it's their choice, that's my understanding of the speech of the British Prime Minister, it's their choice to go for a hard Brexit. I would not be in favour of that at all. I would be in favour of having a agreement as quickly as possible, even though it will take a lot of time, an agreement that is beneficiary for all of us. But
if
that's
they
not
leave?
that's not the signal I've heard.
You say if. Is there still a possibility in your mind that it won't happen?
Oh, that's in their hands.
Can we go straight back to Greece, sorry, and try with the IMF? Since the IMF hasn't decided yet whether they will take part in the third Greek program, can you just explain us a bit where we are in the discussions and how you're going to convince the IMF people in order to stay on board, or whether there's another chance to take part in this program?
I'm not sure I understand the question. In the Eurogroup in May, we said, yes, there is a debt problem, and yes, we are, if necessary, prepared to take measures, some in the short term, some at the end of the program in 2018, and we can have a commitment for the long term also. And the IMF will have to make its own calculations on the basis of what we have agreed in May, and then make up their minds. And I would very much hope, because that is what they agreed to, that they will go to the boards before the end of the year. That's all I can
There's
say.
been a suggestion the IMF
I'm not
could
going
take
to
on-
reopen debt talks every
No, not
month.
the debt talks,
There's a
but
suggestion the IMF could take on an advisory role
Exactly.
rather than be a full participant. Would that satisfy you, or do you think that it is crucial that they have an active participant role in the bailout?
I believe a spokesperson of the IMF has denied these rumors, so what should I add to that? Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Are you worried for the situation of Deutsche Bank? This morning, Financial Times published that they received preferential treatment during the stress test. Do you think that this situation could affect the market?
No, I think that the situation between the American authorities and Deutsche needs to be cleared up as soon as possible, because it is causing unease and unrest. And for the rest, the Deutsche Bank will have to continue its process of strengthening the balance sheets, restructuring, etc., to become once again a fully trusted and strong bank. And I think that's what they're doing.
European Parliament asked for the Commission to stop the procedure against the structural funds in the Spain case. Can you agree with this?
My understanding is that the structured dialogue between the Commission and the Parliament is still continuing. And I'm not part of that dialogue, so I will have to wait for the outcome. And I hope that all our partners, including the parliaments, will help us to protect the credibility of the pact. So we have agreements and we have rules and procedures, and we can't ignore them.
Worried for this delay? Do you think that this delay is positive? This delay in the decision of the funds?
I don't know. It's not up to me to say. I'm not part of the structured dialogue, so the only thing we can do is just wait for the outcome of that. And in the end, it is up to the Commission, not up to the Parliament. After the structured dialogue, the Commission takes a decision.
But before the summer, you said that you were let down with the decision made by the European Commission about not sanction to Spain, not even Portugal. So at this moment, you said that you were let down. All the procedure has let you down again?
It's too early to say. The structured dialogue is still going on, and the Commission will then take a final position. I'm no great fan of sanctions. I want to make that very clear. I think that all of us, first of all the national governments, but also the Commission and ECOFIN, have a responsibility to make sure that we apply the rules in the correct way. And if we do that, we shouldn't get into these discussions about sanctions. So, do I think sanctions are very effective? No. Do I think that as an ultimate remedy we should have them? Yes. Let's try and stay away from them. That's my position.
About the budget, the Spanish one is logical to start to work with the old budget when the new perhaps become in December?
All governments need to send in their budgets before the 15th of October. Whether you have a caretaker government or not. Of course, a caretaker government cannot put all kinds of new measures in, so we understand that. But even if the Spanish government sends in a no policy change budget, the Commission still has to give its verdict. And that verdict will be also a clear message for the new government who comes in. Because they have to restore also the confidence of the Commission in the Spanish budget. So, let's see what the outcome of that is. And unfortunately, the new Spanish government will have to do some more work on the budget. So now I got to go.
Thank you.
Do you think